Welcome to Community Corner. Community Corner is basically a special project that seeks to recognize and celebrate citizens within Ward 3 who are bringing about important changes within the community. I'm Rashmi and I'm a summer co-op student who's working for Councillor Chris Fonseca for this summer. And on today's show we have Randy Attwood, who is a celebrated local astronomer who has been involved, who has dedicated 30 years of his life to space science and astronomy. So it's amazing to have you here.
Great.
For today's show.
Nice to talk to you, Rashmi.
So when did you know that you were destined to study astronomy?
Well, back in the summer of 1969, I was about 12 years old, and the Apollo program just fascinated me. The fact that men were going to be landing on the moon. Back then, in school, I'd be the little kid who would stand up and talk all about the space program and seem to know it all, kind of thing. So during the summer, I followed the space program. I made scrapbooks, I made models, I just absorbed everything I could, and that really got me going with space. And then about a year later, there was a partial eclipse of the sun visible in southern Ontario in March 1970. And that got me interested in astronomy, got me interested in eclipses. My wife and I have seen about a dozen total eclipses of the sun traveled around the world. So it really has consumed my life ever since then.
So could you name some impactful moments in your career that caused like a shift of perspective or changed how you saw things?
Well, certainly going through school. I mean, I've always been interested in teaching. And I thought I was going to go into teaching for a career, but ultimately I got interested in computers and went into information technology for 30 years. But all through my career, teaching has been I've been interested in teaching. I've been interested in the media. So those things have always sort of impacted my life. Even though I wasn't in the media, I had my own cable TV show for 10 years on astronomy. Even though I wasn't a school teacher in business and industry, I found ways to teach courses on how to use software, that kind of thing. So from a professional point of view, it's teaching, mentoring, and sort of instructing people about science and technology is what I've been interested in. From the space point of view, I've had a chance to meet a lot of people, astronomers, astronauts, people who work in the space field, and they've always impressed me. Certainly after you meet an astronaut, these people are just very career-oriented and ambitious and very, very capable, and afterwards you go, oh my gosh, what have I done with my life after meeting somebody like that? But they inspire you to do better, to try to be a better person and do more with your life. So I think meeting these kinds of people along the way, you can always learn from them, and they help you to sort of follow your path on where you want to go and what you want to achieve.
So you would say that you definitely draw inspiration from all the people who have brought about important changes.
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. These people are committed to space and technology. And the fact that they work these long hours on these projects that are cost a lot of money, mm-hmm. and have to work. I mean, if you're building a space shuttle that are going to take 7 people into space, it can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And you can't help but be impressed with their capability, and certainly with say researchers like astronomers. These are people who devote their lives into learning new things, and they're curious about the universe. They want to understand it better, and ultimately what they do affects us. Maybe not a day-to-day point of view, with dollars and cents, but certainly if astronomers, like the astronomers who are discovering planets around nearby stars, one day when they find a planet that is exactly like Earth, maybe with life, maybe not. The day that we find life forms, even if it's just microbial life forms, elsewhere off of the Earth, that's going to change things forever. We think there may be life out there right now, but we don't have any proof. And so that's going to be a big day. That's something I look forward to.
What important changes would you like to bring within the community?
Well, one of the things that I've always been interested in is astronomy and public outreach. I don't know how many people have looked through my telescope and seen the moon or Saturn for the first time, and it's just for many people I think it's a life-changing moment because they had no idea that views of the moon or Saturn could be so available, so reachable. So I've been running public outreach for ages. I mean, back in 1986, we set up telescopes just over at Centennial Park to see Comet Halley. Well, 15,000 people came out over 3 nights. I mean, it was something that people wanted to see.
Yeah.
Back in 2003, Mars was the closest to Earth than it had been for 65,000 years. We set up some telescopes down by Mississauga City Hall. People were still showing up at 1:30 in the morning. I mean, it's just there is an interest in the community to learn about the universe and to participate and see it for themselves. And so that's the kind of thing that led me to start the Astronomy Club in Mississauga, to create the Earthshine not-for-profit charity that I started here in Mississauga, but also to run the monthly Riverwood observing evenings. And so with that, we each month when the moon is around first quarter, members of the Royal Astronomical Society set up their telescopes, and people can come out for free. Families, groups of even school groups have come out, youth groups like Cubs and Scouts, to look through our telescopes, to identify some stars and planets and constellations, and maybe just ask some questions like, who are we, where do we come from, what's it all about? Looking at the universe, it inspires people to ask these big questions. So that's the kind of thing that I think ultimately there should be an ongoing program, and maybe down the road in the next step, maybe a permanent facility where we can have a larger permanent telescope set up, displays, classrooms, and maybe even a planetarium, so that not only can we do these kinds of things during the nighttime, but also during the daytime we can bring in school groups, bring in youth groups, and talk astronomy.
Youth are definitely an important part of the community. And what advice would you like to give to budding astronomers?
Well, I think anyone who is interested in science, you need a certain curiosity and passion, because it's a very competitive area. Becoming a professional astronomer, you need to have high marks in sciences and math, and you have to have the interest in working long hours to do the research, but also I guess an interest in an area of astronomy. Why do these stars act the way they do, or why are these galaxies colliding, or what are these things they call dark matter or dark energy? These are major questions that astronomers are working on right now. So all these things going together, that I think makes a good astronomer. And one of the things that I'm very interested in is inspiring young people to get into science and technology, because it's critical to our economy. Even within Mississauga, there's a lot of technological industry, and you need to have this new flow of new people into the workforce who are interested in science and technology, for our economy. So it's important that young people who are interested, even have a basic interest in science and technology, are mentored and given a chance to grow and develop, because again, it's very competitive, and we certainly want to see them be successful.
Well, to succeed in any field, it's not just inspiration, right? It's the ability to sustain that inspiration. How could youth sustain that? How could they carry it on? How could they continue working hard?
Well, I think anyone who's passionate about something, they don't really have to worry about sustaining it. We all have a certain interest. We all know an area where we're good in, and the main thing is in any career is to lock on to what interests you, and then just follow that and put 100% into that, and certainly you'll be successful. I think that's from my point of view. I've never had to really think about the things that I'm really interested in. I haven't really ever thought about, well, how am I going to sustain it? It just happens. It's just if you have a passion for something, an interest for something, it'll happen.
Okay. Also, you you are interested in the teaching field and you're big on that, and you did say that is one of your long-term goals. How are you? What kind of changes would you like to bring to the curriculum, what we're being taught in school right now as far as astronomy is concerned? Do you think it's enough, or do you think there's so much more that we could be doing?
Well, I think the curriculum is good right now with respect to astronomy and space. Anyone who's been through grade 6 or grade 9 recently, they know it's they've had space and astronomy. The one challenge, however, is the teachers. Many teachers I've talked to, I've gone in to give talks to grade 6 and grade 9 classes. The teachers find it a little challenging because their background, the kids have a lot of questions. It's an area where the kids are really interested, and they've got a million questions, and the teachers don't have all the answers. Now, some teachers just go out and find the answers. Going back to a local facility, it would be a place where, for like a field trip, if anyone ever went to a field trip to the Milwaukee Planetarium back before it closed, it was a highlight in their life because it was, you're seeing the sky, you're talking about the universe. I think something like that would be important. The one area of the curriculum, looking at Mississauga and just its diverse makeup, there are people from all over the world in Mississauga. And one thing that I've gotten interested in is talking about astronomy historically, but also through the different cultures. I mean, it's the diversity within the city tends itself to talk about astronomy in Asian cultures or Islamic cultures or all these, and it's a fascinating look because we have the Big Dipper, which is a bear, which is North American culture. But if you talk about in China or in Iran or in Africa, they saw these constellations but differently, and that is very interesting because not only do you get a better perspective on how the sky influenced these different cultures over time, but also you get to learn more about the culture, and I think that's very important as well.
So you have achieved a lot of success, and you have been doing what you've been doing for 30 years. How does it feel to have an asteroid named after you?
Well, it's really an honor. I mean, this asteroid that was discovered back in 2004, and actually I met the discoverer just a few days ago. It's probably just a rock 2 to 3 kilometers in size, out beyond Mars's orbit, in between Mars and Jupiter. There's a very good chance that it could be made of something like this. This is an ironstone meteorite that landed in South America several hundred years ago. So when you think about that going in orbit around the sun with my name on it, it's pretty amazing. It's very, very cool, and today I'm honored, and it's just beginning to sink in.
On a final note, how could citizens within Worthby become more involved in your program?
Well, as I say, that we have monthly programs at Riverwood, and they're open to everyone. It's free, so we invite them to come out. Also, we're beginning to put together a movement where we can collect people's ideas about this program, about the idea of having a permanent facility in Mississauga, and so we'll ask them to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and just get some feedback from them. I mean, is this something that they would be interested in? Would they like to see a permanent facility with an observatory and planetarium in the city? And then we'll just go from there. We're trying to just scope out the size of the facility right now, but if you look at any of the say cities anywhere near the size of, say, Mississauga or even Peel in North America, they all have a facility which is based on either science and technology with astronomy and space exploration, a focus for people to go as a family, as a group, to explore the universe together. So we think as an addition to our culture, as addition to the city as a whole, and even as a place where tourists could be attracted to, I think it's something that we should be considering.
Well, it has been amazing having you today, and it's quite an honor to meet you, and we need more people like you within the ward who bring about such positive changes. So I wish you the very best in things and all your projects.
Great, thank you. Same to you, Rashmi. Thanks very much.